No. But how many of the natural consequences have been removed to the point where people feel that they can go ahead and do whatever it is they want to do? I mean, think about how many people would refrain from doing things because they knew that they were going to, not they all were going to get caught, but, oh, gee, I'm going to have to pay for that if I do that.
Well, the state's become the injured party in all matters. We violated the dignity of the state. Who is the state?
Well, because the state economically and through statute and regulation becomes a third party in all transactions, right? You can't contract with anybody. You have to use the state's money in all transactions too, right? Legal tender laws, that's what they mandate. And so they make themselves a third party, which gives them color of law to be, to have legal recourse in all transactions. So, and of course we allowed this the majority of people against the minority of people asked for this to happen so that they wouldn't have to bear the consequences themselves, right? And everybody thought, or the majority of people thought, that they would be better off than they would have been otherwise. But of course that can't be the case.
And it's economically fantastic for the government. The more laws they have, the more you can break, the more money they can fine you with.
Yeah.
The more totalitarian they become.
Well, isn't all government in one way or another totalitarian? I mean, that's the whole aspect of what you see now, is that it's a total government. It's going to tell us what we can and cannot do in every aspect of our lives. It's really, I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Well, this is the nature of democracy. Hans Hermann Hoppe has a book, Democracy, the God That Failed, which is a collection of his essays and academic papers. And he talks about the 20th century being the century of total war, because it's the first century where all the major world powers turned into democracies and blurred the line between the ruling and the ruled. Thus, you had total war of peasant against peasant instead of just royalty against royalty.
You read too much.
so I hear.
All right, time for our other break here to tell you about the other main sponsor of our show, which is Far North Tactical, over there at the corner of 8th and Lacey. I'd like to invite you to come on out and get yourself armed to the teeth. Buy some guns, exactly. The whole point about...
Buy some body armor.
Over there at Far North Tactical, you'll find firearms, you'll find body armor, you'll find all kinds of scary things that make people think that you must be some kind of a crackpot to think that you have to defend yourself. We have the police. We have the government. Why do you need to protect yourself, Aaron?
Because of the definition of police.
The whole point is this, is that if you want to be a victim, don't go to Far North Tactical. If you don't believe that it is your calling to just wait in some bathroom for the police to come and rescue you, then go to Far North Tactical and get the things that you need to defend yourself and to defend your family. Does that put it well enough for you?
Yeah, that's well enough.
All right.
Well, stay away from the MREs because those are mine.
You know that police comes from the same root word as politics.
That says a lot right there. 458 Talk is the number.
Crank that song up.
All right. It's actually a pretty cool video, too.
Sweet song.
It's Muse, by the way, if you are interested in checking it out for yourself. The tune is called Uprising, and the lyrics are just phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't believe they're not in prison.
Well, I mean, they're openly advocating for people to not obey the government in every aspect of their lives.
They do some really fun stuff. There was they were on BBC, and this was back a couple albums ago, and they didn't have any swear words or anything in any of their songs, and they go on there, and the BBC producers are like, well, you guys can play whatever you want, but no swearing on air, so just make sure you don't do that. And because they told them not to do that, the lead singer got all tweaked by that. So in the middle of one of his songs, he just starts dropping the F-bomb for like 2 minutes on BBC. And then he goes back to playing the rest of the song. But they do that kind of stuff all the time. They played in front of they were in this Italian studio, and they're like, okay, you guys are going to have to lip sync, and we're going to play this song because that's just how we do things here. And they're like, no, we don't lip sync. And they're like, no, you're bound by contract. You have to lip sync. And so they all switched positions, like the drummer was playing the guitar and the lead singer was on the drums and whatever. And they were just sitting there not even trying to lip sync, just totally making the TV station look like fools as a result. So, yeah, they're solid guys.
I like that. So, once again, Muse, the name of the group. 458-TALK is the number. Good morning, caller. You still there?
Yes.
Who is this?
This is Randy.
Randy, thanks for calling in.
Well, I just wanted to contend a little bit. I think I heard David say something to the effect that there's no difference between left and right, or they're the same thing. In politics, I forgot how you put it, David. Don't get involved with it, or
no. Politics, by its very nature, creates conflict. It engenders conflict.
Oh, okay.
By definition.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say that it's very important to stay tuned to politics, find out what's going on in the country, and to vote for the most conservative person that you can. Sometimes our choices are not perfect, but as a perfect example, there is the perfect example of the difference between left and right is there's a article on FoxNews.com that says GOP, which is the Republicans, of course, presses NLRB, which is the National Labor Relations Board, to drop case against Boeing as Dems accuse company of flouting law. And as you may have heard this issue here, the National Labor Relations Board and Democrats are trying to stop Boeing from building a big plant down in South Carolina where they want to construct some Dreamliner parts, the 787, and they want Boeing to do all that in Washington State. Now, Washington State is already building a bunch of stuff in Washington State, but they're expanding, not taking away any jobs in Washington, but expanding in South Carolina. And, of course, the Dems are saying, well, they're just doing that to escape the unions, which is probably true, but to me that's their right. And here you have the Republicans standing up for the right of that private company, and the Democrats and the National Labor Relations Board and Clinton's appointee, Obama's appointee, attacking this private company, which will then just denigrate our industrial capability. So isn't it good if you have a representative that will stand up for Boeing?
Well, right now we have a Democrat that's standing up against the TSA for Alaskans, and I don't see anybody supporting her. There's definitely no Republicans supporting her. Talk about a violation of our fundamental freedoms, our right to protection from illegal search and seizure, and we have a Democrat standing up for us. Well, I don't understand how you're drawing a party line because one Republican's trying to do something that you consider to be good, versus a Democrat right here in our state, forget about Washington, let's worry about Alaska, is trying to stand up for all of our rights, and you're not supporting her. Let's take Joe Miller. He was supposed to be the better of the two candidates, and everybody was all over me because I wouldn't support him. But he's made a living off of enforcing, as a magistrate, statute and code law and oppressing the people under something that is obviously against our Constitution and against what's right. And he says he's a constitutional scholar, but he's made his living off of oppressing people, something that's directly against the Constitution.
A constitutional scholar that doesn't believe in jurors' rights, which is mind-boggling.
Well, isn't that? I mean, it's the same kind of thing as a biblical scholar who doesn't really believe that the Bible is true.
But as long as he's Republican, it's okay.
Randy, I understand exactly what you're saying, and what we're trying to do, all of us here, is to get people to think outside of this Republican, Democrat. It's a circle that will never end, and it's destroying us. They've got us in this mold, making us think that we're actually doing something if we go vote for the right guy this time. It doesn't make a difference. They have a party platform that will take away our freedoms. It doesn't matter which side it is. The Republicans will do it just the same. I mean, we've gone over and over and over all the different laws that the Republicans have passed. The Patriot Act is the biggest one lately. I mean, we have Obamacare. Who cares? Our front-runner Republican right now created Romneycare, which Obamacare was based on. I mean, our whole point is forget the parties and just go for your own individual freedoms and liberty.
But that requires
those parties will not help us.
That requires thinking for yourself, Josh.
The question is always, the left or the right, and the only answer that's going to change things is no.
The people.
It's not left or right. The answer to who will rule us is no. That's the answer.
No.
Right. Yep.
Instead of going against the National Labor Relations Board and fighting for Boeing, get rid of the Labor Board.
Exactly.
Throw them out. I mean, I'll get behind a Republican and say, look at those Republicans. If they'll go in there and say, we're dumping these guys, they're gone.
But you'd also get behind a Democrat if a Democrat said, hey, let's get rid of it.
I'll get behind an American that's for individual freedoms.
Dave just summed it up. The answer to who's going to rule us is no.
Well, again, you guys are you're parsing hairs here. I mean, what it comes down to is this: is that if you just say no, then you're godless, obviously.
The party of no. That's where we're going to start our own party if it hasn't been. The party of no.
The Republicans were accused of being the party of no, weren't they?
I wish they were the party of no, but they're all about the party of no to the Democrats and the party of yes, yes, yes to their agendas.
All right, gentlemen, we are less than a minute out here from the end of the show already. Any closing comments today?
Let's go to.
Wasn't it Apostle Paul who said no before he was killed? He was in prison, and the guard said, I'm free because I'm a Roman, and he told him, I was born free.
Yep.
That's right. Exactly and right. And he said no. He said no. I won't view the Roman government as deity. No. And it ended up costing him his life. But
no.
Is that's our biblical example? Maybe Paul was a godless anarchist.
Well,
we're out of time, guys. We'll see you next week.
660 AM KFAR Fairbanks.